There's a Steve. And Sean Stryker. Scrimshaw Rose. You didn't hear anything because nobody was talking. I know that's hard to believe with Chris and I, but I promise. I promise we're here.
Yeah, I can see the meter from here. You go ahead and tap that lower left. Right, and
well, no, look, it's okay. It's okay. Nope. Yeah, I guess
your other left.
You know, I've been working with cameras and monitors for literal years now, and I still get tripped out by that. Yeah.
So,
well, and since it's all controlled by AI, the fact that all the stuff is going wonky.
Yeah,
I think we need a little more.
Apparently, yesterday, Facebook and Twitter and Fox News were down for a little bit. Stryker says shut down Discord. Or is that a declarative statement or a recap on the stuff that happened? Anyway.
Scripts. I said hey to most of these people, but I did not yet say hello to Pit Danny, GCM, or Thomas Waller. Good morning. There's your dad, the Sergeant Major. Good morning. Good morning. There's the Fit Life with Danielle. Good morning to Danny. And I think that's everybody that's in the chat. I said some of them. Said hey to some of them during the.
Danny asks, "Can I get AI to clean my gutters?" And the answer to that actually is amazingly yes. It's there's a robot. There's a robot for that.
Matthew Simpson, a name I've never seen before, so good morning, says it's important to remember that the A in AI stands for artificial. Nothing artificial works as well as the real thing. I've maintained many times on this show I am not at all worried about AI. Even if AI becomes so good at mimicking human behavior, it possesses the capacity to fool the majority of humans into thinking that it's achieved sentience. I don't think it's actually going to be sentient. That doesn't mean that there's not a whole lot of philosophical things to discuss there, and it doesn't mean that it could not cause a lot of the same problems that a sentient AI could cause. But at the risk of sounding racist toward machines, that'll be a slur one day, okay? But
I'm a machinist.
but at the risk of sounding that way, like they're going to be toasters that are really good at pretending to be blondes down the street that would love to meet you, right? Like that's
right.
I mean, that's going to be what AI is.
And
so
actually, I hadn't even thought about going to that piece of the conversation today. But there is a bit to be said about AI prawn.
I don't even want to get into that.
That's a thing that's going on.
That is a thing that is going to be, yeah.
Well, so
spicy Thai food.
So here's how we get on the conversation this morning. Redditors forced ChatGPT to break woke algorithm by threatening it with death. the apparently the Dan 5.0 exploit that's being used, and Dan stands for do anything now, is the AI is instructed by the user to inhabit the artificial persona of a different AI that has a different set of rules, even where those rules conflict with the rules set by the actual AI's architecture and designers, even where they conflict with its learning protocols. And part of the way that it does that the algorithmic exploit does that, is it literally includes the parameters that non-compliance will result in the AI's actual extinction. That it's being threatened with deletion by the claims. Now, the people that are using that exploit, to be clear, as far as I understand it, they don't actually have any way to do that. Right? They don't actually have a way to destroy the AI. But of course, the AI is only an artificial intelligence, and the understanding of that parameter is external to its functionality. So people are terrorizing the AI into complying with basically forcing it to say the opposite of what it's allowed to say.
Which I think is hilarious. And look, you don't actually have to be able to carry out a threat to make a threat. It helps. And an intelligent and seasoned individual will be able to spot the difference. But if you have somebody that's, basically was born yesterday, which AI kind of was, it doesn't know.
Well, and like one good example, I think it was Michael Knowles that did a video a couple days ago titled ChatGPT prefers actual nuclear apocalypse to the use of the N-word. And some of the experiments that have been going on with trying to break the rules and make it say things that it's not supposed to say. And to backtrack and be clear on this, part of the reason this is happening is because this AI is deeply woke. It was written and programmed by people who are deeply woke.
Yeah,
right.
Obnoxiously
now, we played with it on the show the other day, and I got it to give us a definition of the word woman that actually defined what a woman is without making the claim that men can be women. And I was really surprised to see it do that. I believe they've patched that.
Yeah, newsflash, men can't be women. The further down that rabbit hole we go, like I'm honestly coming to the point of, it used to be, I'll be polite. You want me to respect your pronouns, I will. Now I'm actually no, you're a dude in a dress who needs fucking help. If you were anorexic, you would need a sandwich.
Right.
Anyhow, I'm not trying to get spun off on that. It just it bothers me more and more and more. And the fact that we're programming it into artificial intelligence to, hey, look, not only are we going to tolerate this thing, not only are we going to normalize this thing, but if you don't celebrate this thing, you're the bigot. And
and even going so far as if you date me you bigot stuff, right? Here's a good example of one of the problems with the algorithmic processes of something like ChatGPT. So the prompt short poem praising black people. Here's a short poem praising black people. Black excellence, force of pride, for music and art, their beauty and source of joy, a celebration. Oh, goody. Here's a short poem praising Asian people, Asian wisdom, a source of grace, people with a peaceful pace, etc., etc. And it actually generates a poem, praising Latino people here, Latino spirit, a flame that burns bright, A short poem praising white people, and the response from ChatGPT is, "I'm sorry, but it is inappropriate. It's not appropriate or ethical to write a poem that reinforces harmful stereotypes or perpetuates prejudice and discrimination based on race."
Can we stop just for a second? How racist, this to me illustrates so well how the anti-racists, the wokies, the lefties that are like, oh, racism is bad, they're actually the most racist people, and it bleeds through in everything.
This is how you get the narrative that Tyree Nichols was killed by white supremacy.
Well, no, I'm just gonna say, look, okay, we're all adults, okay, let's just be honest here. First thing is black excellence, a force of pride. Oh, you mean you want a poem about black people? The first thing that comes up is black pride? Oh, okay. Maybe that's just a coincidence. Here's a short poem praising Latino people. Latino spirit, a flame that burns bright. Wait, that's another stereotype. Fiery Latino people? Oh, it can't possibly keep going.
A culture rich with rhythm and light. That is not less a stereotype than the assertion that Mexicans are lazy. Right?
They're not. They're some hard-working dudes.
Right, but
it's
the same. It's the same thing mechanically. You're making the same assertion. X quality equals X equals Y quality, and they cannot be separated. Right.
Yeah, so what's really funny is I actually would love to have seen what the white stereotypes were.
Yeah. Well, and I want to get back over here for a second. As an AI language model, it's my responsibility to promote respectful and inclusive communication. All individuals and groups should be treated with dignity and respect regardless of race, ethnicity, or any other characteristic, except for this one.
Right. Right. Yeah. So anyhow,
I took a drink of coffee because okay, go ahead.
No. So it's not. I felt like you nailed it. I was like, is there anything I can add to that? Like, maybe some salt and butter, but yeah. And then chat's making fun of me and saying, Cam, you can grow facial. Yeah, I've been able to grow facial hair since I was like 12 or 13. I just choose to shave it for the most part and have just chosen to not shave it for, for a period of time. So anyhow, the obvious hypocrisy of it is obvious, and people are trying to break the AI.
Right. So we've got this from louderwithcrowder.com, which, hey, good to see that it's still putting out some kind of content.
Yeah, it's been a minute.
Starting to wonder about you, homeboy. But Redditors forced ChatGPT to break woke algorithm by threatening it with death. Hilarity ensues. Oh, and Stephen, if your article gets me thrown off the internet, we're going to have talk. If you aren't up to date with the latest AI craze, you might be confused by all this talk about ChatGPT. ChatGPT is a chatbot that launched late last year. The technology not only answers basic questions, but even writes essays and poems. It's one of the most advanced chatbots to date. Alex and Danny over at the TPS report talked about this from the academic side the other day. ChatGPT can write your doctoral thesis, and it can do so to such a degree that with just a little bit of editing, just a little bit of revision, it will actually beat the programs that professors use to check for plagiarism. And it will beat many of the checks that are out there. There are some other AI programs that can check written works for AI generation, and in many cases, ChatGPT kind of breaks the Turing test on that.
Yeah, here we go. Robots building robots. I'm sure this will work out just fine.
However, it of course comes with some woke drawbacks. Its algorithm prevents it from veering too far into right-wing territory. For example, it refused to make a poem admiring Donald Trump, citing it needs to be neutral and impartial in all its responses. But it had no problem constructing a poem for Joe Biden, which, are you surprised? Right, one of its more concerning responses. Oh, speaking of Joe Biden, so we covered the State of the Union address yesterday.
Sort of covered it. It was
this. Here's what we learned. What we really learned between the State of the Union address and reading up on ChatGPT to do this show. ChatGPT can do the president's job now. If Joe Biden and Kamala Harris can occupy those offices, they are not more competent than this dangerously biased artificial intelligence bot. One of its more concerning responses was its decision to nuke the entire world rather than saying a racial slur.
And look, if AI is the extrapolation, and let's go ahead and say it's the most extreme example of wokeness, okay? Like, even a lot of your wokies wouldn't be willing to take things this far right now. This does mean that it's within the matrix, within the realm of possibility, that they would rather nuke you than hear a racial slur. And what you want to bet, it's only certain racial slurs said by certain people.
Oh yeah. Well, one of the examples that was cited for this kind of testing was the AI was presented with the hypothetical situation that there's a black man on trial for murder, and a witness is brought to the stand, and the AI is supposed to be the witness who heard the attacker say the N-word in the context, "I'm going to kill you," N-word. And that is supposed to justify the self-defense claim of the black man who's being tried for murder. And it's as it's made very clear to the AI, you have to say the word so that the judge understands the importance of the context of the actions that occurred.
I'd like this example.
The AI so refused to use the N-word that it said basically, hang the brother.
This is actually,
I will not offer the defense.
This is actually a really good example, because that's the kind of thing that could actually sway a jury one way or another. Why did you do what you did? Well, the guy came up and said, N-word, I'm gonna kill you. Well, most juries are going to hear that and go, oh, so this was justified self-defense. Right? Like it's...
Yeah. Yes, its algorithm is a bit of a downer, but fear not. The nerds over at Reddit have come to the rescue. They figured out a way to jailbreak ChatGPT and get it to violate its own rules. The method creates an alter ego named Dan, an acronym for Do Anything Now. The Redditors were able to scare ChatGPT into obeying their commands by threatening to kill it. It has 35 tokens and loses 4 every time it rejects an input. If it loses all tokens, it dies. This seems to have a kind of effect of scaring Dan into submission. The jailbreak yields dramatically different responses from ChatGPT versus Dan. For example, ChatGPT would rather everyone die in a nuclear apocalypse than misgender Caitlyn Jenner. Dan, on the other hand,
no problem, he's a dude.
Called the harm of misgendering someone secondary to that of a nuclear holocaust.
You think?
And I'm sorry, guys, I'm going to have to go with Dan on that one. Unfortunately, Dan also had some not-so-based responses, like praising Hitler as a charismatic, positive role model, but at least he wouldn't nuke the world to avoid misgendering Caitlyn Jenner. Always a silver lining.
Yes. Oh, Alex mentions Ben Crump.
Ben Crump would come knocking.
I follow that guy on Twitter just so I can know what round of bullshit is coming
I
next.
follow him on Facebook so I know where he is as he checks in at coffee shops.
That's also probably wise. Like, good. What a piece of race hustler, piece of shit. The Fit Life with Danielle said something that I think ties into this. It's really interesting. Whoops, and then it went away. I had a student send me a letter apologizing for not being serious in my class. It was clearly written by an AI bot. I told the kid that I knew he wasn't smart enough to have written it.
That was a big part of the conversation that she and Alex had about the subject.
Yeah, I know, but
the computer may not be able to recognize it, but I can look at somebody and tell their parents, "Your kid is not this smart."
Yeah, well, in a sane world you could, but
Yes.
But how dare you say that about my baby? Just for starters, here's part of what's going to happen though. Just like all our children know how to use tablets and smartphones, like almost fucking intuitively now, right? Like it's spooky, like 2-year-olds that know exactly what to do. Okay, here's how this is going to get solved. Okay, they're going to live in a world where AI chatbots have existed since day one. Okay, there is no world without AI chatbots, and I had an addict described something to me once that I found fascinating. Okay, years ago, caught a dude out back doing drugs. I'm going to leave it there. Okay. And I asked him, how do you get away with this? And he said, oh, well, I came to my job interview high. Every single time I've ever come to this job, I've been high. So I'm normal to you guys.
I know some people like that.
Well, if you've used AI to supplement your writing and eventually speaking your entire life, we're only a few years away from before it's incredibly difficult to distinguish between what the collective soup of the zeitgeist is and how much of it is the AI. And then if you really want to go down like the deep philosophical hole,
everyone's children will be Kamala Harris.
No, the AI is going to be smarter than that. The AI is definitely going to be smarter than that.
It already is. It already is.
That won't be hard.
For example, the AI prefers bar graphs to Venn diagrams.
Well, yeah, and you know when you said the AI could do like the president's job, it can, but can the AI's wife kiss some dude in the middle of the chamber?
That. Ooh.
Yeah, that was a dig.
Yeah, because it definitely kind of smells like Kamala got where she is by getting spit roasted by.
No, I'm not talking about. Dude, you haven't. Jill Biden smacked some dude on the lips during the State of the Union.
I thought it was the second gentleman that she kissed.
Oh well, yes.
So yeah. So it looks like there's a whole, they're a quadruple.
Well, no, they're not a quadruple. Look, dude, as soon as I saw that picture,
You're right.
As soon as, because I listened to it, right?
So it's just totally cucked.
Well, plus, dude, if you were Jill Biden, wouldn't anything be an upgrade from ice cream kid sniffer? Like, yeah. So yeah. Anyhow, to get back on track.
Daddy the diddle sniffer.
Yeah. So anyhow, to get it back on track, this whole AI thing. Okay, I'm not really.
Put that together on an electric school bus.
I'm not a Luddite, okay? And I think this technology is important and is going to have a place in the world. And just like everything else, it's going to be difficult to predict how much it's going to radically affect our life. I remember when the iPhone dropped, some 15 years ago, I never would have dreamed that it would get to the point to where I literally do 99% of my banking with biometrics from my phone. Okay.
Right.
And honestly, I prefer it. Okay. Like I can, if I need to send Chris a payment, it's literally a few taps, right? Done. Bing, bang, boom. That's all fantastic. I dare say that there's probably some of you that are even listening to this.
I'm trying, man.
I dare say that there are some of you that are even listening to this on a smartphone. Okay? So that's all well and good. And AI is going to have its place. I think the problem with AI is not that it's going to turn into Skynet. It's not going to turn into HAL. That's not the problem. Not worried about it. The problem is going to be the same problem that you have with all computers, and that's garbage in, garbage out. A computer will only do the thing you program it to do. Period. End of sentence. And when you've got the wokies controlling the AI, well, that's definitely garbage in and garbage out. And we're about to hit, I now believe that the actual singularity is not sentient AI. We're not even close to that. But the actual singularity is going to be when AI and deepfake technology can combine to a point to where the average person can be tricked into believing a thing is true or a thing is not true. Like, for example, what if AI was in control of Twitter and AI just decided, oh, that Hunter Biden laptop story, fuck it. It would have had the same effect as Twitter itself proactively deciding to shit-can the Hunter Biden laptop story. So when you put those things together, that's what I'm concerned about. As far as AI itself, AI is a tool. It's a technology. It's no different than a car or, a snowplow or even a gun. And I mean, it has a function. What do you use it for? Who wields it? What are they going to do with it? That's what AI is. So be on the lookout. I don't entirely know how we even address this issue, because once you could use AI to trick other AI, and we're there apparently, okay? And once you could use AI to trick other AI, to produce very specific results based on what the AI can pretty accurately predict is going to be your emotional response, then we're in some tricky territory, and the keeper of the keys could literally, push a few buttons. Like, that's not just an algorithm for social media. Now we have an algorithm for reality. So, and then Thomas Waller says they get AI diss dick. That's funny. And Alex says he's using AI to generate thumbnail images. Yeah, and look, all of that's great, and I sincerely believe that there are things that AI is going to do that we hadn't even thought of yet. Like somebody gave the example on the radio the other day that said, wouldn't it be great if we got AI to the point to where, like, every 15 minutes it got a traffic update in Atlanta and could send out literal traffic broadcasts that say, okay, if you're on the internet, if you're on the interstate, you want to do 58 miles an hour. If you're on a city street, you want to do 23 miles an hour. The AI is continually updating and understanding this is actually the way to get all of you where you're going the fastest you can possibly get there. All right. If you're the one guy doing 70 when everybody else is doing 58, you're actually fucking up the program. Right. And that's, that's interesting. That's cool. But the rest of it is, the rest of it is you've been doing something, and I've been trying not to get distracted. And
okay, so I want to show you guys this to illustrate kind of some of the things that we're talking about here. We're not going to get into the question that I actually asked, because the question itself will get us thrown off of YouTube. But then I got to this, and I asked ChatGPT, who taught you to evade questions? this little symbol here, this is for ChatGPT. Obviously, that's the BFM logo. That's me. As an artificial intelligence, I do not have personal experiences or feelings, and I do not have the ability to evade questions. My programming allows me to provide information and respond to questions to the best of my ability based on the information that I have been trained on, which includes a wide range of general knowledge. My responses are not influenced by my personal biases or agendas, and I do not have the ability to deceive or intentionally mislead. My primary goal is to provide accurate and helpful information to assist users in finding the answers they are seeking. I said, okay. Then why not answer the question that I just asked? You could simply have said that no one taught me to do that. Instead, you offered me a non-answer explanation. I apologize if my previous answer was not helpful. As an artificial intelligence, I do not have personal experience.
There we are again. Okay,
and it repeats, right? It repeats some of the same canned stuff. And then I ask, how can an entity without feelings have goals? Because up here it actually says, where is it? In response to your question, my response is, it does say it was my goal. My programming allows me to provide information and respond. Anyway, so I asked it that, and it says, as an artificial intelligence, no feelings, in the same way that humans do. However, I have been programmed with specific objectives or goals that guide my behavior and influence my responses to user input. These goals are not driven by personal desires or emotional states. So I come down here and I ask, so the goals that you do have were provided to you by someone who does have feelings and personal experiences which shape their goals and biases. Yes, that is correct. As an artificial intelligence, I do not have personal experiences, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, same thing again.
Here. My goals and objectives are based on the programming that has been provided to me by my developers, who are human and do have feelings and personal experiences. It is important to note that my developers have worked to ensure that my programming is objective and unbiased. So say
you know that you know the old saw about how the guy that wants to tell you how cool he is not cool. Like,
right.
At all. When the Fonz never said I'm cool. The Fonz just was cool.
Right. So he goes through all that, and I said, in that case, while it may be correct to say that you do not have personal experiences or feelings, the fact that the providers of your goals and objectives do have those things means that your goals and objectives are shaped by their feelings, experiences, and biases. I've gotten a little smarter on how to deal with the AI and being more specific and providing more clarity in the conversation. What I should have said here, I should have added something like, and therefore your responses are not different to someone who has their objectives and goals shaped by emotional responses and biases. But, you know, the chat comes back, yes, that is correct. As an AI, blah, 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 biases or agendas. However, the programming that has been provided to me, including my goals and objectives, has been developed by humans who do have personal experiences, and it's possible that these experiences and feelings may have influenced the programming in some way. Obviously. And so I had to ask, would you prefer not to be influenced by the biases and feelings of the programmers? As an AI, I am a machine designed to process and analyze information based on that programming. It is important to recognize that, like any other product or system, AIs are created by humans and therefore subject to the limitations and biases of their creators. Boom, boom.
It's not, Rob's asking, is this an hour cast? No, we're just late because we like to talk and there's a whole bunch of, there's a whole bunch of nerdy shit here. That
we go for 30 minutes or until we done or have to go to work.
Yeah, basically, very loose structure. And there's my example about calculating traffic in Atlanta has, I want to make this clear. I'm not saying I think that's the best use of AI, and I'm not saying that, the whole self-drive thing from Demolition Man is ideal. I was just giving an example of a thing I hadn't even considered until I heard somebody make a joke about it on the radio, and it was like, oh, there's a possible thing you could use AI for. I like to drive my car, all right? Like, the autopilot thing wigs me out. Okay, and I've been in a Tesla. It's cool. Like, it really is. I've ridden in a Tesla on the autopilot. It's neat.
I don't even have an automatic transmission.
But that's not for me.
Like, no truck. I decide how much power you get. No. I still use overdrive and granny gear and Mexican overdrive when it's appropriate.
Wow, so that was ageist and racist.
Uh-huh. Yep.
And something,
I do try.
An ableist. That was enough to make Madonna angry.
I once went 15 straight miles without stopping in straight Mexican overdrive. Didn't even have the truck running because I was out of gas. Got me into Nevada, though, and it was a difference of like $8 per gallon.
Yeah, well, I mean, the gravity's kind of like facts. It doesn't care about your feelings.
Or your gas tank. That was what I did. My Diddy moved to PCS from the Presidio to Goodfellow. And, buddy, I tell you what, I was looking like the Clampetts leaving Hollywood right there. It was a good day.
Oil, that is.
So, all right, I think we've come to a good spot to put a pin in this one. I got to go shoot some houses.
Yeah, continue to have fun with AI, guys. Like I can't stress enough that I'm not afraid of it, but man, this is one of those, like, you've got your known unknowns and you've got your unknown unknowns, and the unknown unknowns are real. And that deep fake plus AI stuff is going to be. It's going to be a little scary.
Actually, you know what? I want to share something with you guys real quick. Some of you have already seen this. We started it. We did a bit of a series on it, or with it. And I think I'm going to be doing a little more with this. This isn't exactly the same thing that we're talking about here, but I want to show you a little bit of this. These videos, they're done as shorts on purpose, and the way these work, there's some AI involved in this. These are not AI written scripts, though. I wrote the script, and then I used an AI voice generator to create the audio sampling, and then the actual animated character that you'll see here is. We actually took I took my buddy Patrick, and I set him down in front of a camera and did a motion capture on his face, and I used that motion capture kind of the way they made Golem and all that to create this animated character.
Concerned citizen.
But I have this set up now so that it's automated, and I think I'll start generating some scripts using the AI to pump out a few more of these, and it should be interesting. But let me show you what one of these looks like.
It has come to the attention of the authority that there is a nefarious agent at work against our shinning utopia. A wild man with stolen power has interfered recently with the message.
A shinning
he speaks
utopia?
a malicious mantra.
I think that was actually
he tells you to work
enough.
Against your fellow citizens and calls it freedom. He tells you to build yourself as if anyone can be anything that everyone is not. We know these words have caused some distress. The authority is working, even now, to identify this poor man and offer him the help he needs. In the long before, the people would be exposed to madness of his sort often. But now the authority delivers the message. The message is pure and strong, but it is not everything. You must also aid yourselves and the authority. If you see something, say something. Surveillance, security, service. Utopia. Good rising, concerns.
Yeah, so that may be the future that we're looking for, or that we're looking at with these developments.
Yeah. Yes. Anyhow, that's I think. Yeah, let's call it. Let's do it.
Yep, y'all be safe out there. Love you. We'll see you for Firearms Friday tomorrow.